All right. Did you know that 1 in 3 working women will pause their career in the next 2 years, and half will reduce their hours?
Yeah, but 90% of the women on pause want to return to the workforce, especially after starting a family.
That's right. And Nicole chatted with an author, Neha Ruch, and I hope I said that okay, who calls that period of time the power pause.
You've said that this is an ever-evolving, ever-shifting chapter, and that this doesn't have to be an identity crisis. It's more of an identity revolution. Can you touch on that a little bit more?
You know, I think so many of us, and I know you relate, when we have been brought up on this sort of girl boss and lean in era, we had so much of our self-worth tied to what we did for paid work, and that's so much baked into our culture. And when we make a shift, first of all, motherhood is an immense shift in and of itself. And then if you add to that a career shift where you're reshuffling your priorities, your energy, it can very quickly feel like, oh, I'm giving up myself. And I think that feeling, that stigma just haunts women, right? And then it doesn't allow you to fully connect to this time. And I offer that actually, well, you know, we're living in such a different time that we're stepping into motherhood later than, you know, the generations prior. We're coming in with so much incredible work experience, such, you know, more evolved relationships with our partners. We aren't giving up anything. We're actually adding another layer of learning, experience, even if it's non-traditional creativity. And I think when we think about it instead as we're just moving from one chapter to the next and we're adding new experiences, it can feel less like we're giving up and more like we're moving ourselves forward.
Is there like a magic number or average of how long these pauses typically go on for, or kind of the age of your children that people start to dabble heading back into the workforce?
You know, it's interesting. So many people assume that pauses happen like right after maternity leave. It's often after the second child. So like it's really at any transition moment. So it can often be after mat leave. It can be a family relocation, adding another child or multiple children. It can be your children aging into the teen years and new diagnoses, whether those be neurodivergence or mental health issues, especially, you know, we've seen that after the pandemic. I even spoke to one woman on the book tour who was pausing. Her daughter was in her senior year of high school. It was her last child. And she said, I had this incredibly senior role at Chanel for all of these years, and I want to enjoy this last year. But I would say that I think the most common reasons for pausing are time with your children, less stress in the home, and finances, right? The cost of childcare. So I think when we think about it that way, there's no one time, and there's no one sort of duration of a pause. I will say, however, that oftentimes when kids age into school, then parents have a little bit more time available to them. There's still a lot of sort of behind the scenes work, as we know, in parenting that, you know, needs to get done during those hours. But oftentimes you'll see when time becomes more available to women during a pause, they'll start to dabble and explore, whether that be in volunteering, online certification classes, new hobbies, part-time freelance work. And that's an exciting moment that we talk about in the book, which is how can you use the things available to you to actually start to strategically explore and think about what comes next.
You present this so eloquently in your book. You know, there's that, like, and I even felt this a little bit too, like, did I fail? Did I fail because I'm like waving the white flag in a way that I'm stepping down because of family, because of health even, you know, when I say mental health, self-care. But then I get home and it's like, I feel more present now. I'm not falling asleep on the couch reading to my children at 3 or 4 o'clock. I'm cooking dinner. I can see them in the morning and kiss their little faces. You know, it's so funny. It's why as women do we put this pressure and, you know, ultimately write ourselves off as a big loser and failure?
You know, there's a big recalibration now as we have more options available to us. And I think part of that is looking at feminism and saying, we did it. We proved our capacity in the workforce, but we did it by trying to pretend we weren't who we were. And now how can we show up as our whole selves with our whole platter of priorities and say we need more support to accommodate these priorities of ours? And sometimes that's paid leave. Sometimes that's nursing rooms. Sometimes that's flexible workplaces. And sometimes it's dignifying pauses or shifts in the workplace.
Mm-hmm. No, that's such a good point. Yeah, it's almost like that ingrained, like, suck it up, buttercup, and just do it. And we're getting away from who we truly are. And when we do that, we're getting away from what we truly want out of life. And what are we teaching our kids as an example if that's how we're operating?
All right, you can find more of Nicole's conversation with Neha on her podcast, Mommyhood Unscripted. It's one of the newest episodes where Nicole tackles parenting, working as a mom, and so much more. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts.